Namaskar, warm greetings from DELNET Developing Library Network, New Delhi, and Trestle Labs, Bengaluru, India. Distinguished speaker, Mr. Bonny, the co-founder, Trestle Labs, Ms. Akshita Sachdeva, the co-founder, Ms. Shivani, and other officials at Trestle Labs, well-known national and international library experts, institutional heads, library and information science professionals, computer science and IT professionals, educational administrators, IQAC heads, faculty members, researchers, scholars, students, my colleagues here at DELNET New Delhi, and also our coordination units at Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune, ladies and gentlemen. I, Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, Director DELNET, on behalf of DELNET Developing Library Network New Delhi, and also Trestle Labs, Bangalore, India, extends a very warm, hearty welcome to each one of you for joining us today from different parts of India and many other countries across the globe, including Bangladesh, Bhutan, Canada, Ethiopia, Ghana, Ireland, Indonesia, Malaysia, New Zealand, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Sri Lanka, UAE, USA, and Zambia to today's program, Emerging Technologies to Make Libraries More Inclusive for All Users, organized to celebrate the National Technology Day 2024, which is observed every year on May 11th. We are much grateful to each one of you for your very overwhelming response to today's session, as more than 1,600 participants from across the globe have registered for the session. At the very outset, we would like to wish everyone a highly empowering National Technology Day. DELNET, a single largest library network in entire South Asia, located at JNU campus here at New Delhi, and also its coordination units at Bangalore, Pune, and Hyderabad, and shortly soon another unit getting added at Lucknow, connects more than 8,600 institutions in India and few other countries, including institutions of national importance, universities, colleges, R&D organizations, medical hospitals, specialized institutions, and is working relentlessly with a missionary zeal for more than 3 decades to network the libraries, sharing and spreading knowledge. Empowering libraries, inspiring professionals, and strengthening the knowledge-sharing activities remains its prime goals. The co-organizer, Trestle Labs, is indeed a remarkable organization, which is a multi-award winning startup recognized both nationally and internationally for their efforts towards making education and employment inclusive for the blind and visually impaired community through their very highly innovative product, Kibo, which includes software and hardware that allows you to listen, translate, digitize, and auditize any kind of a printed, handwritten, and digital content across 60 plus global languages. As we celebrate the National Technology Day today, we all remain highly committed to explore the new emerging technologies and its impact on the education, libraries, teaching and learning, and to harness the technology to the maximum. It is most important to make our libraries as the most vibrant, welcoming, inspiring spaces, promoting high level of inclusiveness. We need to believe in the power of diversity and inclusion. We need to believe in the radical equality of all beings. We would like to express our very warm, sincere gratitude and thanks to the management of Trestle Labs for their immense support in organizing today's program in collaboration with DELNET. And our very, very special thanks to the most esteemed speaker, a young, energetic Mr. Bonny, the co-founder, the genius behind, the establishment of Trestle Labs, for his gracious acceptance. Thank you very much, Bonny. It's indeed an honor and pleasure to have you with us and having this program, today for our entire fraternity. Thank you so much indeed. I take immense pleasure now in introducing the distinguished speaker, Mr. Bonny, who is an socially motivated individual, and you will be very amazed to know that he left his master's in aerospace engineering dream to pursue social entrepreneurship and has been working in the domain of assistive technology for 6 years. While volunteering at Blind People's Association, BPA, during the second year of his mechanical engineering, he was intrigued by the size and cost of creating Braille books. Upon realizing that Braille is a 2:3 matrix, he got some actuators from market and built a single-cell refreshable Braille display project to play Guess the Braille Character game with the students of BPA. that moment of witnessing how he could use technology as an enabler to empower lives motivated him to start the Trestle Labs. His diverse roles at Trestle Labs are spread across the design, customer relationships, operations, finance, and marketing. It's indeed an honor and pleasure to have you with us today. And we are indeed so much delighted, that you could be able to take out time for us and for the entire 1,600 participants who are being there, it's indeed an honor and pleasure. I don't want to stand between you and our, attendees who are anxiously, looking forward now to hear from you. It's over to you. And once again, thank you so very much. And I would like to request you to accept our invite to be a presenter.
Yeah. So yeah, just before I start sharing my screen, I think it's important to know, before I start sharing what we do, it's important to know the individual who's going to be with you for the next 1 hour or so. So thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. Thank you, DELNET. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I'm sure Saturdays, early morning, there are different time zones, people joining across the world. I think today on this World National Technology Day, there's a very sensitive topic and albeit an important one that we are going to discuss, which is inclusion. Most of the times, people think of inclusion as something that it doesn't concern them because in their day-to-day life, they pretty much works fine. But today we will see, and my effort is to take you through why inclusion is really important for the overall growth of the library ecosystem and institutions at large. So I'll split this conversation and this time that we have into 3 parts. The first, about 5 to 10 minutes, I'll take to take you through what we understand about inclusion, why is it important, and then slowly transition to our core work at Trestle Labs and our Kibo, and how we are driving this inclusion movement with impact at the core. You're leveraging technology and AI. So that brings me to the second part of the conversation, in which we are talking about emerging technologies in a world where GPTs and transformers and AI, the pace at which things are evolving. How can we, as the library fraternity and the people who want to support the library ecosystem, continue to grow and be up to pace with the way the world is changing in the realm of AI, and how inclusion should be at the core of whatever we do. So that is pretty much the second part of the conversation. And the best part is I'll also do some live demonstrations. So if you have some recommendations of any specific languages that you want me to demonstrate, please keep it handy so that in the third section, where we'll have a Q&A, I'll be happy to demonstrate, take any specific requirements and requests from your side, and do a live demonstration of those as well. And as a bonus section, towards the end of the day, we have a very special announcement, and yeah, that I'll be announcing at the end. So let's begin. I think I'll simply share my screen. I think my screen is also visible. Yeah, there is. So the journey of Trestle Labs and us started in 2017. As Sangeeta ma'am said, I'm a mechanical engineer who wanted to do masters in aerospace, get a job at Boeing or Airbus. But things changed for me when I started volunteering at a blind school as a part of my college project. And that interaction that I had with those kids, where they were limited by the content that they had on those Braille books, and I compared it with the way I had privilege to access content. So as a curious engineer, I ended up building a product that would convert a digital text into Braille output and showed it to the kids there. And they were super happy with it. Then we played a game with the kids. I enter a character on my laptop and ask the kids to guess. And this interaction stayed with me by the time I graduated, where I had to take an option whether to go for a master's or go and join a social innovation center, where I get a chance to leverage my skills to build something which adds value to people's lives. And I chose to go with that option because of one principle that I learned, that if there is an intent to drive impact, you can reach very far. So I think the intent part was very important when we talk about impact as well. Taking this journey step by step forward and talking about inclusion and what do we mean or understand by and large about inclusion. So just quoting the Cambridge Dictionary, it says the act of making someone or something part of something larger. Okay, why is inclusion important? We say, for an example, if we have, let's assume some shapes. So in a world where we live in, or in a classroom or an education institution, we usually have different types of people, students from different backgrounds. There may be some students who may have some form of hidden disabilities, some students who may have some form of physical disabilities, blindness, low vision, some would be wheelchair bound. So different types of disabilities. Then there are certain segment of students who may not have disability by the definition of it, but who may be coming from different regional backgrounds, who may not be conversant in English, who may not be able to learn things at a pace in which others in the classroom are able to pick it up. Again, second type of students and individuals in our classrooms. The third type, which again is interesting, is in many of the Indian institutes, there are foreign students, overseas students, or there are exchange programs, right? These students may be well versed, but they come from their own regional language background. Even the students in India, there's a diversity of the languages that get spoken at home. So regional languages again plays a very important role. So by definition, inclusion does not always mean inclusion of persons with disabilities or students with disabilities, or maybe even at times inclusion of women or giving them the equal opportunities. No, the definition goes beyond that. If today I don't know a particular language, that the document in that language is inaccessible for me. So when I'm going to study in an institution, I would likely wish that those documents also are accessible for me. So, and hence, when Cambridge says that the act of making someone or something a part of something larger basically means that when we are being inclusive, we are not only being inclusive of a certain segment of the society, but through those efforts, our goal of something large, which is education for all, accessibility for all. That is the larger objective that we are serving through inclusion. So whenever next time you hear the word inclusion, always look at it from the perspective that it's not only about the student who's asking for some request or some specific individual. It's about how me being inclusive supports the larger goal, and what the larger goal is: accessibility, content accessibility, and equal opportunities for all. So that is the true value of inclusion. And when this happens, when as institutions and as librarians and as library professionals, we unlock this ability to be inclusive for all, it has a snowball effect in which it directly translates into job opportunities for individuals, more progress for this individual, and more merit in the way the institution works. I'll give you an example. Of late, I met somebody. She's the director of an institution in the US. If I remember the name correctly, it's called Gallaudet University, in which you won't believe all the faculty members of the institution know American Sign Language. And you won't believe the impact that Gallaudet University has in the local ecosystem, so much so that there are now they have people who are hard of hearing as parliamentarians in the Austrian parliament. We were invited to the Austrian parliament, and we were super surprised to see there were parliamentarians who were who were hard of hearing. There are people who are visually impaired. I think that is that when you become inclusive, you enforce, you take a step, take an intent-driven step to become inclusive, it translates directly at the highest level in which the country operates as well. So it was a beautiful example also to see how these countries have adopted inclusion at scale. The second definition, which is library, which I'm sure I'm not the the wisest person here to talk about it, but library by definition, according to the LIS Education Network, says it's a dedicated space within a college or university campus that serves as a hub of knowledge and information. You'll find many different definitions of libraries. Some call it a collection of books where they can issue books for free, la la la. But this I found was very apt. Why? Because of the last part, which talks about library being a hub of knowledge and information sharing. So why are we still going ahead with the traditional definition of library, in which you have a set of books, you have a set of journals, you have a set of e-journals, you have daily newspapers, magazines, and students walk in, people walk in, use the services, interact with it, issue something, return something, and they go out. This has been going on since decades now. What more can these libraries? And if you, before I go there, if I search the word library on Google, this is what I get. Students studying, list of books, more books, right? This is what even the internet is understood about the definition of libraries. But why can't libraries be a hub of knowledge sharing? I'm just taking sign language as an example, and it need not restrict to sign language as well. Why don't we have libraries being a hub wherein we have daily sessions or weekly sessions or some sessions in which we gather people and conduct sign language preliminary basic learning courses? Today, you won't believe the amount or the requirement of well-trained sign language interpreters in the market is exorbitant. There is more demand than supply. And this is a fact. Being working in the assistive tech space for the last 7 years now, this is the fact. Slowly, as you go forward, you will see adoption of sign language, real-time live transcription of sign language, even in mainstream media, even in the live news that you see, right? So this is where we are talking of inclusion at the highest level in the entertainment industry. In this year's IPL, in case you're following cricket, right? There's a segment in which you can look for a sign language interpreter and then watch the IPL through the sign language. As in contrast to the popular opinion where we think, okay, if a student is hard of hearing, he might as well read it and understand it. It's the same, right? He's not that he's visually impaired and we need to make a special provision for him. No. That's where we are getting it wrong. Expecting a person who's hard of hearing reading a book is as simple as reading a foreign script. For an example, reading a Latin script. I know English alphabets. If you give me a German book, I can read those characters, but I won't be able to comprehend this, because the difference between that and when they actually sign it, the grammar is what gets communicated also when there's a live signing that happens. So just an example, I don't want to bias you in any particular direction. They're just trying to give a long-term view and a short-term, where do we start from? Similarly, how many of us here in the call, we have many participants here, know about screen reading softwares? Oftentimes when we say we are building a product for the visually impaired, in which the product connects to the computer and a visually impaired student or an individual uses the computer, scans any printed, handwritten or any book that he wants and listens to it on the go in the language of their choice. First question we get asked, wait a minute, how does a blind student use a computer, right? It's expected that not everybody may know it, but how many of you also know that there are screen reading softwares which visually impaired people use to use a computer, not only for Kibo, use a computer at large to send emails, to research on the internet, to do just every single thing that we do with the computers. It's just that there's a layer of tech that is enabling access to a content which was previously inaccessible. Nothing more. It's just the screen starts speaking to you. That's it. So this is what we talk of inclusion. It's a layer of tech, something in between that is just enabling, unlocking potential of people who previously were the content which was previously inaccessible. So the intent so far about taking you through this journey was the importance of inclusion and why it's not only limited to a few people in the society. It's for everyone. Inclusion is for everyone. You may not feel it today, but going forward, you'll definitely understand why it matters. And this fact. So now we've transitioned from definitions and facts to some real life examples of what, for an example, the Indian education system is doing, where the Indian education system also has been now focusing on multilingualism. Why? Because inaccessibility. People coming from regional language background, content is inaccessible. They are not able to comprehend it in a way that it happens for other students. Equitable and inclusive education for, like I said, persons with disabilities as well. UGC, University Grants Commission, also again talked about library services for persons with disabilities. NAC, National Accreditation Council, also talks about the inclusion of assistive technology products in the library ecosystem to make the libraries accessible for all, right? So these are things that are happening at a central level or at a what do you call it, at a ministry level of they trying to push it. But my friends, things won't move unless there is an intent. Again, I'm going back to the same definition. I chose to do social innovation because there was intent. If somebody would have come to us and come to me and said, Bonnie, you should do social innovation, you should work for the visually impaired because see, uh, there's so much to be done, I wouldn't have agreed if it was not coming from inside, right? So my intent here again is not to tell that we'll go and change the world after this fall. No, no, no. My only objective here is to make you think and get you asking the right questions within you. Self-assess yourself that your day-to-day, whatever you're doing, are you doing it in an inclusive manner? If not, what else can you do, right? This brings me to a very interesting conversation. A very dear friend of ours whose name is Dipali. Dipali is from Nashik, Maharashtra, a state in India. She was in her first year of college when she lost her eyesight. She had to drop off from the college, and when she was asked about what she can do, everybody told, go, as visually impaired people, go and learn Braille. What do blind people do? Learn Braille, right? She tried learning Braille for 2 years, couldn't pick it up at that age. She finally dropped from that, but she was determined enough that she wants to complete her education and started reapplying to colleges again. Many colleges said, no, we don't know how to support visually impaired students. Many of them said, oh, you've graduated your first year as a non-visually impaired individual, so but now you're blind, so you'll have to repeat that course again. So she got rejections left, right, and center, up until she got got admission into an open university. Now she got printed books from her college to prepare for her exams, and she had to go run around getting her books audio recorded. Why? Because she was a late blind individual. She couldn't learn Braille. Unlike the popular opinion that every blind student knows Braille, no, that's not the case. Less than 1% of people know Braille, visually impaired people, I'm saying. And if you look around us, we don't find content in Braille at all. So she was relying on audiobooks. That's exactly the point where we met her. And we told her, hey, Dipali, your books are in Marathi, which is a regional language. You don't have to run around. We will digitize your books and give it to you in an accessible format, and you try to prepare from those books. So this is where we met Dipali. We digitized the books and gave it to her. And this was the genesis of Kibo, which is an acronym for Knowledge in a Box. And as a platform, Kibo does four things. You can scan any printed, handwritten, or digital content and listen to it, translate and listen to it in the language of your choice, digitize it in searchable, accessible format like doc, docx, txt, and searchable PDFs, and audiotize it in the form of an MP3. So you can download audiobooks. All of these across 60 global languages, including 13 Indian languages. Kibo as a platform. Now we are getting into the action items, how we are solving this problem of inclusion. Okay, so this is the phase 2. So Kibo as a platform has two products. One is Kibo XS Kit and one is Kibo 360 Kit. The basic differentiation is XS Kit is you can only scan hard copy. 360 you can scan hard copy as well as upload soft copy documents. Basic differentiation. As well as a third vertical in which we equip and empower libraries or institutions to undertake large-scale digitization and translation projects as well. Kibo is a patented technology stack, and most of the times when we set out, people say, hey, this is something Google Translate, also Google Docs can also do it. How are you so different about it? So here's the test PDF. Google Translate gives no output for scanned PDFs. Google Docs would retain it as an image, but Kibo makes it completely accessible. I'll give you a quick example of it now.
Unlabeled graphic. Find in page input scan blank.
So this document that you see, this is a scanned PDF, and we are just trying to search a word called university in this document. But because it's a scanned document, it's not searchable. As well as the voice that you heard was the screen reader trying to read this document, and it said blank. I can't read it, blank. But when the same document you process with Kibo, what happens is
explore experience in Power Ref. Find in page output. I-E-R-S-I-1. Result 2 of 2.
Now this document, if I'm searching university, not only am I able to search on a scanned document, but at the same time, it's making it inclusive for a screen reading software to read the document. It was reading the top 3 words on the left side of the page: explore, experience, empower. So this is the true inclusion that we are talking about, where it not only serves the visually impaired kids or person with visual impairment reading this document, it also makes it searchable. It's a win-win situation for everyone. And this is the inclusive world that we're talking about, right? And it doesn't stop here. The best part about Kibo is it supports handwritten text as well. So if you have a receipt or any document, you simply let it pass through Kibo, and it just makes it magically searchable, even for handwriting. So this is the strength of technology with the right intent in the right place, which unlocks a lot of potential. OCR as a tech has been around since ages, right? What have we done differently? We've contextualized it with the support for Indian languages. Our focus has been on unserved and underserved regional languages in Southeast Asian nations, Indian languages, African languages. That is our strength for handwritten support. So this is our advantages, where we are supporting 80% of globally world spoken languages, our support for handwritten text, our ability where users can type, scan, upload anything and get an audiobook right on their fingertips. So Dipali had to wait for 4 to 6 weeks to get one 300-page book audio recorded. Now she gets it in less than 30 minutes. Our support for translation across 100+ languages. So language is no longer a barrier. And all of these in a connected experience across mobile and web, in which you have some content scanned in the library and you want to give a special access to the students, you can do that as well. In this journey, we've had thousands of people, students who've positively benefited from Kibo, and here there are a couple of these stories.
Device with software contributing breaking the stereotype in the society, and this like it will open more and more doors of opportunities to the people.
I am completely wiped out the problem of print disability as well as digital content disability.
My option is Kannada literature for UPSC. I had to depend upon my mother. Now I think I can do it independently.
I'm quite happy with the device and its performance, because no software in India or no device in India currently gives accurate translation as Kibo does.
कैमरे से इंस्टेंट डॉक्यूमेंट रीड करना, वहां पर हाई कोर्ट में रिप्लाई में एक सेंटेंस को मराठी टू इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेट करना पड़ता है. ये काम कीबो के वजह से बहुत ज्यादा फास्ट हो गया है.
The keyboard desk, and I'm very happy with it.
These are the stories that, you know, make us get up every single day and strive to make this world a little more inclusive for everyone. So far, since 2019, we started the journey in 2017, but since 2019, we have empowered more than 600 plus institutions, made them inclusive, empowered more than 100,000 individuals across 25 countries. We are bootstrapped so far and have been partnering with distributors in US, UK, Brazil, 5 countries in Asia, 6 countries in Middle East, as well as in Africa, and have worked with governments here in India as well, Maharashtra, Karnataka. And I'm super happy to share that Kibo has made the Indian Parliament Library also inclusive. And this is the photograph of the setup that we have done at one of the highest institutions in India, which is really close to us because it just sends a message across of how the highest organization is also trying to become inclusive, and so should all the other institutions be as well. In talking about taking a step outside, remember the definition I told? All these while I was talking about visually impaired kids and accessibility and all these things. But in the first part I told, it's not only about those, it's about everyone, being inclusive for everyone, right? So we're working with the government of Karnataka, which is a state in India, to deploy Kibo in 2,000 rural public libraries. The beauty about this project is when we set up Kibo in these libraries, there are non-visually impaired individuals who can understand the local language, which is Kannada, but cannot read it. They're able to scan newspapers and listen to it. Literacy barriers. There are kids who have taken up English books and started listening to it in Kannada. Language barriers. So be it disability, language, or literacy barrier, Kibo stands as a true beacon of what an inclusive product should be, look, and do like. Right? So this is, and hence it's very close to us, this project. And our organization has been recognized both nationally and internationally. We received the national award for the best R&D and innovation, National Startup Awards, MIT Solve, and many others in this process. But the best recognition so far has been when Dipali called us after we made the books accessible for her. She called once fine day and she's like, "Sir, I've come to film the form for my third year exam. I've cleared my second year exam. Thank you for making the content accessible on Kibo." So this is the empowerment that we strive for. And this is the world of inclusion that we hope to have in the years to come. So this was a formal presentation. Sorry if I took a lot of time, but this was the intent. Again, I come back to it, saying that the intent, the purity of thought of what is it that we are trying to change in this world, if it's there, I think there's a lot that we can do. Now, another 7 to 10 minutes of your time is what I take to take you to a live demonstration of Kibo, announce the bonus section, and then we open it up for Q&A. Okay. And Sangeeta ma'am, you can always pause me if there's something additional that you want, but I think we are good on time as well. So, perfect. Now we come to the second part of the demonstration. I'll stop the screen 1 minute. I'll reshare the screen in some time. Yeah. So Kibo, I showed you the photograph, right, of what it looks like. So Kibo is basically the hardware part of Kibo. Looks like a water bottle with a button on the side. You press the button, it takes the shape of a table lamp. And right underneath the button, there's a place to insert the cable. So one part of the cable goes into the device, and the second part is a standard USB output that gets plugged into any PC, computer, or laptop. Along with this, you get a soft mat. There's a square hole in between. The base of the device is square. So when you place the device here, the edges of the mat is what the camera can see from the top. So when we have visually impaired IS officers, which is Indian Administrative Services officers, who use Kibo to access their day-to-day office documents independently. So all that they have to do is make sure that the document is on the mat and it's just good to go. So I'm just connecting it to the computer now. Share my screen. You can see the screen now. And go to page. Now, we saw how do we set up the hardware. What do we do next? How does it work? So the best part about Kibo is you do not have to install any special software on your system. Nothing. All you have to do is open any browser and go to the URL of Kibo. I mean, I'm using Kibo 360 here. So once you go to the URL, and once you log in, the page loads, and this is where it comes. So Kibo 360, I'm showing you because it has all the three modules. It has three modes of input. The first being the enter text. Imagine you have some document, some content in a digital format, and you want to type something. So you can type the content here and then translate or download it in audio, like an MP3. Suppose you have a scanned PDF file or an image file that you have, and that you want to digitize or listen or translate, you can use the second option. Or the third option being you use your Kibo Access camera, which is what we're connected. So which is now a live preview of camera here, and we will take, I'll just start because of the diversity of the audience. I'll start with an English document and then we proceed to any specific language if you want to do it again. Okay, we can do it in the Q&A section. So this is like a normal book that we have. The beauty is that even if we have a larger document like a full-fledged A4 size document, you can keep it in any direction. It works, it reads it in the correct reading order. Or if you have a small book in which you can have both the pages together, right? So in this setup, Kibo will start from here and then go to the next page. This is where now the second part of the topic of the day, emerging technologies. Right? This is where the core tech integrates seamlessly that the user doesn't have to worry about it. I give it an English or an Arabic or a French or a Bahasa or a Malay book, it automatically detects it. A single document having 2-3 languages, it automatically detects it. So this is where tech enables things to happen. So I've kept the book here. The interface is pretty simple to use. I can also show you later how does a visually impaired person use in case if you're interested using the screen readers. But for the sake of this demo, I'll quickly start. So simply capture the document, process it. You get the output on the screen and you can directly listen to this output, or let me play it out loud.
Page 1-1. Chapter 3. What about problems? Life will be full of problems and strife, but problems should not stop us from living life.
Let me just pause it here. Right? So this is the first part in which we are listening to the document in the language it is in. Right? Then if I quickly just minimize my screen. Yeah. Yeah. If I quickly go through the other set of capabilities in which we start with the digitized part. And imagine we had this in the form of a scanned PDF. Okay. The magic with digitization is once the document is processed, you'll get the file that looks the same, but it's searchable as well as accessible. So we wait while the process completes. It's downloaded now. Let me open it again on the browser itself. It's easier. And let me do a word search. Right. So we have one of one. There's one word with the starting of the word called who. Right. So this is searchable as well as accessible. So this was the digitized part. The fine text, basically, if you scan 10, 15 pages, and if you want to look up some particular instances, how many instances are there for this word, you can use the find in text option. It's multilingual, so you can search in other languages as well, even if you don't know to type a language. So if I don't know to, if I would have scanned a Hindi document and I type English, but it gives option in Hindi, so it gives you that flexibility as well. Then is an option to translate. I'll come to it in a bit. The ability to download it in editable formats, docx, txt. Now, this is really important because when you download it in Unicode accessible formats, you can then prepare an EPUB book out of it, prepare a Braille book out of it, convert it to Braille and prepare an ebook. You can just play around with it, right? It's accessible now. So if I do a download in docx, open the file, and there you have it. It's completely under your control now. Text is completely selectable, editable. You can add more things if you do enable editing. Yeah, that's Microsoft Word file for you. Now let me close this. Go next. Is the ability to audiotize. That means you can download it in MP3. So when you do that, this document that we had processed will now be converted into an audiobook. So you now no longer need to buy audiobooks and store it. You can start generating your own versions of the audiobook and keep updating it, because many of the times, maybe for example, the president of India changes, or there's some other changes that happen frequently. So every single new edition, you don't have to buy an audiobook out of it. Simply, you can.
Chapter 3. What about problems? Life will be full of problems and strife.
So there's an MP3 version of the book now. The best part is, suppose there's a chapter that you have scanned for a particular student, and you know this thing needs to be explained a little bit more. So I can add more explanation and then save it. And now if I download it in MP3, I'll get the updated version of the document as an MP3, right? So this is the ability to edit the content online and do it. Having done that, you also get, suppose this document is frequently accessed. No, every single time you don't want to come scan and play it out loud. You can save it to Kibo Cloud. So once you save it, it'll ask you name a folder. I do default, whatever it is, and the file is saved now. So next time, even if I don't have the device connected to the system, I can simply log in, go to this option called files, and access all the files that I've saved online. So that is saved to cloud. Cloud share is what I was talking about, that if you want to selectively share this document with some particular email ID, so enter the email ID and or enter 4 or 5 email IDs and click share. So you can do that here as well. So this is sharing selectively to select group of audiences. Accessibility features, really important. Color inversion and font size. So many of the times students may know they're low vision students who want to just use it as a magnifier, not want to read it in audio. So they can simply use it as a magnifier and read through the documents as well. And the last part is copy to clipboard. If you want to copy this text and paste it somewhere else, then you can use this option. Okay, moving on to the option that we skipped, the translate option. So you can translate the document on the go. For the sake of the demonstration, let me translate this in Hindi. Then we can flawlessly play around it. I type Hindi, I select, I count 1, 2, 3, and boom. You have the output right up our sleeves. And the rest of the options remain the same. I can simply like play it.
And 1 of 1. अध्याय 3. अधिक स्पष्टीकरण जोड़ें. समस्याओं के बारे में क्या? जीवन समस्याओं और संघर्षों से भरा होगा, लेकिन समस्याओं को हमें जीवन
Stop this here. On the fly, I can download this MP3, all the files, all the things, remaining things remain the same. So this was how we scanned a particular document, read it. The input changes. When I do upload a PDF or an image file, it just takes me to my folder or a library. I can pick any other document, for an example, a Sanskrit document, and it will simply process it like on the go. And this Sanskrit document, I want to, maybe if I don't understand Sanskrit, I want to listen to it in, for example, Kannada. Just as an example, I do it, I get the Kannada version. Now I simply
ಪೇಜ್ 1 24 ಪರೋಪಕಾರಿ ಕಳ್ಳ ಒಂದು ಊರಿನಲ್ಲಿ
on the fly, real time. The beauty is real time. So that is the upload PDF or image, or the third option in which I am typing some text or copy pasting some text from the internet. Yeah. And an example, I paste. I had copied that file, right? So I can copy paste it, and then if I want, I can translate this, or if I want, I can simply download this as an MP3, audiotize it on the go. And what I was telling you in between is the type assist, in which, for an example, if there's a language and I type Namaste, even if I don't have Hindi keyboard, I can use the type assist to type Hindi characters as well. Let's switch it off, clear it. So this is what Kibo 360 does, in which you listen to the documents, translate and listen to it in the language of your choice, digitize it in searchable, accessible formats like doc, docx, txt, and audiotize it in MP3 versions of the files as well. And what I was saying is files in which I have all the folders, and then I can file. This is the file that we save. So this is the cloud storage, in which even if I don't have the device, I can directly do it from there. So this was a quick demo, slightly longer, but I think that's okay. So this is, we almost there before we open it for Q&A. So just to summarize our efforts of what we've been talking about, inclusion, libraries, the intent being there, and how inclusion eventually impacts everyone and gives them equal opportunities to perform in the society and positively contribute to the economy. There was a wonderful individual, person with disability, whom we asked what are her aspirations in life. He said, sir, I want to become a taxpayer of the country. I don't pay taxes today. I want to become a taxpayer. That summarizes it in a very short sentence, right? These days we try to look for opportunity in which how can we curtail or cut down on our taxes. But he said, I want to pay tax and to earn so much that I am able to pay taxes. I think that is the intent, and this intent is now we are amplifying it through the recent collaboration that we have done with the Indian movie making organization called T-Series, and the recent movie called Shrikant, which is chronicled by Rajkumar Rao, based on a real life story of Mr. Shrikant Bola, who was visually impaired individual. He wanted to study higher education in Indian, he wanted to study engineering in Indian institutions. They denied him admission. Eventually went to MIT in the US, graduated from MIT, and started his own industries called Bolant Industries here in India. So the life is a real life story about Shrikant Bola and his journey, very inspirational journey. And we really felt that this had a close resonance with the message that we want to tell the world. So we partnered with T-Series and Shrikant, and under the Kibo Carnival that we are talking about here, we have recently launched our campaign where institutions, library professionals like yourself, take a pledge to be inclusive. There's no other commitment. It's not for us, it's for yourself. You've taken a positive step internally in the right direction, saying that I've taken a pledge that I will be inclusive. I'll think of inclusion in whatever I do, right? And so as a part of it, maybe I'll also share the link here and post the webinar. The DELNET team will also share a link to the form with you, in which you can simply just fill out the basic details, take a pledge. You'll get a digital certificate on your email that you can cherish it for yourself, or if you want to share it with others, you can do that as well. So the intent is, what next? After this webinar, everybody will go back in our own worlds. But this is something that we carry with us before we get lost again in our own world. So hence, this was the bonus section that I was talking about of taking the pledge. We'll share more details with you as well. I want to end with one thing, again, reiterating that we collectively can drive impact with the right intent. That has been my journey over the last, an engineer turned into a social entrepreneur, running a bootstrapped, profitable social enterprise company since the last 7 years, and met wonderful people along the way who've inspired me. And that is the same thing that in this little time I'm trying to do here while talking to all of you as well. So thank you so much for your time. Before I just stop sharing my screen, I want to show that small trailer that we had worked with the Shrikant team as well. It's a mix of Hindi and English, but there are captions which you can follow through.
I want to be a great research scientist and to be the first man on Mars. Thank you so much.
हेलो सर सर मैं देश का पहला विजुअली चैलेंज प्रेसिडेंट बनना चाहता हूँ थैंक यू सर अगर आपका भी सपना है साइंटिस्ट आईएएस ऑफिसर या श्रीकांत की तरह देश का पहला विजुअली चैलेंज प्रेसिडेंट बनने का तो आपके सपनों को उड़ान देने आ गया है कीबो Kibo is making schools, colleges, and offices inclusive for people with visual impairment by audiotizing any printed, handwritten, or digital document in the language of your choice. So there is Bati. Book your free demo to become #Kibo Inclusive today. Watch my film Shrikant, releasing in cinemas on 10th May.
Yeah, this was not a movie promotion, but it's because now we are taking inclusion into the mainstream as well. So thank you so much for your time, ma'am. If there's anything else that you want me to share, add, please feel free to let me know. I'm here available.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Bonny. A great applause for you for the enormous efforts, relentless efforts that you are bringing in to transform the society around. Thank you so much for enlightening us. Thank you so very much for truly an empowering talk that you have delivered. And this was something very visible. You didn't have to say much. We have been able to know, what all distance you have covered in making, this entire journey so wonderful and beautiful with your most incredible efforts. And it's visible that, as you said, the intent is the most important, crucial part, wherein you're putting in your, the pure thoughts, the pure deeds that you have put in, and that purity of purpose that you have been carrying with you, that has been truly, truly witnessed, through this excellent presentation of yours, the excellent work, the marvelous work that you are doing, and your team members. It really deserves much of admiration, appreciation, accolades, and you have miles and miles, to go to keep on transforming the society around. And God bless you. This has been truly a very special day on this occasion of the National Technology Day. You have really felt and made us felt, how empowered we are and how we have to keep on spreading this the light around with our deeds. You are a one who have set onto a very unique path, and everyone would like to believe in your ideologies and to follow you and to see to it that they also become a part of this great revolution that you are setting into the society. God bless you. Thank you so very much indeed, Bonny. It has been truly a pleasure, and we're really indeed feeling so blessed that we have been able to discover you and the wonderful work that you are being engaged with through this particular session here today. DELNET definitely may like to collaborate, and we would like to explore, as it happened in our previous discussion with some of the colleagues from Trestle Labs. We would like to really explore that how we can partner together with Trestle Labs and to bring this technology closer to the institutions. It's very, very important enough that the institutional libraries are in a they should be able to embrace this technology, and then only the real transformation happens when there is an adoption, and at the ground level we are doing that work. And libraries have to really come forward. Our professional colleagues have to come forward. The institutional administrators also, even if there are only 2 students, in the entire campus of 5,000, they should not think about that how many numbers. It is the impact always is not being that how many you are doing. It is like setting into the new path, setting in new trends, bringing something which has never, no one has ventured, into those areas, into the barren lands. And those unventured, the more we move into that, that's the strength that we are going to, bring in into the system. We assure you from DELNET that we may like to really partner, because this has been to tell to also our attendees that DELNET is in the process of developing, already the work has been initiated, a special portal for differently abled users. And we are covering up around 21 different disabilities as per our National Disability Act. And even otherwise, wherein we are bringing in the best of the institutions, the global institutions to partner and making their content, accessible. So we are really so very happy. Indeed, there is the intent is the same for, means the purpose for which I can see that I can relate it very well. What you are doing at Trestle Labs and what we are trying to achieve even through this networking of libraries. This is one of the component, inclusiveness. And as you have rightly pointed, it's not that inclusivity is, as you have said, that the larger one, and then you making them, a part of it, So one has to really have a very great holistic view about it. And we assure you that we are there with you in this great mission. You have a vision, and we are there with you to bring it down, to the libraries, making it more, practically something that we can contribute in this is that we can introduce our own library professionals and institutions. So thank you so very much. I would just like to request you, and I believe since the huge large number of our attendees are from the libraries, how the affordability, we have spoken about the equitability, we have spoken about the inclusivity, and one of the most other important relevant aspect remains the affordability. The technology is there, but how affordable it is, and therein again the challenge lies it there too. So how far Kibo has been able, Trestle Labs have been able to address that issue to make it as a technology, for the people, making it more affordable. So if you can throw some light on that, the model that you have for the institutions, and is it a per user, is it a per institution? And since it's a device, is it hardware? It's not only the software that we talk about, it's in hardware unit. So how do you intend to address those issues and seeing to it that they don't remain as a constraint in adoption, in embracing those technologies, the pricing. So we would really like to, hear from you if you can throw some light on that. Over to you, Bonny.
Absolutely. No, I think that's really important going forward in terms of you build something, but as long as if it's not reaching the end user, it doesn't serve any purpose. So we've been very mindful of that, and hence Kibo as a device and as a, what I showed as well. That's why we have two versions depending on the requirement of the institution. If the institution feels that they have a lot of hard copy documents that they want to enable students to read on the fly, we have the first version, which is the Kibo XS version, which is for only hard copy scanning. That currently, in which you get the hardware device, 1-year warranty, and no restriction in terms of we don't tie it to the system. Oh, you've used it with this computer, your license is on this computer. No, we've made it very modular. The only requirement for us is an email ID. So when you give us an authorized email ID, we map the subscription to it. And as long as anybody in the facility has access to that email ID, they can use Kibo. So Kibo for a lifetime unlimited use license along with the hardware comes at, if I talk in Indian rupees, it's 99,000 plus GST, like 5% GST. And internationally, when we ship it to outside, like overseas countries, it's about $1,500 for a lifetime unlimited use license of the software. While institutions, that number may sound a little differently to someone, but if you actually see the value, if a product which is used as a shared resource, 100 kids 100 students using the product just once, forget about multiple times, just once. And if you divide it, it's like even less than 1,000 rupees per student. And then now we just multiply it and scale it, right? That is the incremental impact that the product has going forward. And on the other side, what I demonstrated now, Kibo 360, which is an end-to-end product, which gives you real-time listening as well as the ability to create content for the students. That currently comes at a price point of about 2.5 lakhs for the first year with the hardware and unlimited software license, and 2 lakhs every single year for renewal. Both of these prices are standard prices, which typically is acceptable for institutions that we have worked for so far. But it doesn't stop there. Our mission, our focus is accessibility, and we want to make sure that even the smallest school is being able to access is able to access Kibo. So that is why we have partnered with organizations, philanthropic organizations as well, who help us subsidize the product for institutions who may need some financial assistance, who may not be funded by the government or who may not be privately funded as well. So we run those subsidies equally, and then there are institutions who even get it at 20, 30, 50% subsidies as well. So I think we are completely open to support the institution if they have the right intent in place, saying that this is what I want to bring about the change in my institution. We really feel, for us, value is important than money. If the product is able to deliver the value and solve things for you, financing the product can happen. That's the easiest part of the conversation. So that is what we want to ensure, that the value is being delivered, and then the financing can always be done and looked upon case to case basis.
But one thing, just want to have a clarity on that. Since it's a hardware dependent application which is there, as you said, you have to plug in. So does that mean that it's not something like a local LAN or on the net? It's not that, like, so the PC which is attached to that device will only have this ability, or can it also work on a LAN environment? That is, you have a plug-in of this hardware in the main device, and then you do have the clients which are working, and then you can establish a link. Is it possible? What I'm trying to tell you is, you have got 50 students, who requires this technology in the libraries. Now, is it like what we could see it, like, you have one system which is attached with the device? Or does it mean that they need to have 50 keyboard devices? Or does it mean that they can have it on their main server and on a local LAN if they have an interface? If you have an interface, a software interface to connect with the hardware device, and the hardware does allow a multiple connections simultaneously, does those kind of things, are being happening?
Yeah. So remember I talked about the shared capability. So imagine there's a lab session, 20 students in the lab, and the teacher is teaching a topic or something, right? And he also wants to make sure that while he's talking, the content that he's reading is also passed on to all the other students sitting in the lab. So the teacher has an admin computer. Let's look at it, admin and children. So the admin computer in which the device is plugged in is where the scanning happens, because it's a wired connection. So it can scan at a single point of time on one computer. This is where the scanning happens. But then the sharing can happen to all those 20 students. So they need not scan the documents. Only anyways, one person is going to scan the document, one at a single point of time. So that is what the admin and the one to many sharing and happens. So those kids need not have 50 keyboards or 20 keyboards on their individual computers as well.
No, we are also talking about, Bonny, as a feeling of making them more independent, because when we deal, we are DELNET, when we offer, services, we have very wonderful stories, as you have said, they inspire us the most, to whom we have held them, and they were the research scholars, and now they're the faculty members in some of the very prestigious colleges. And so for 25 years, 20 years, you have been seeing, their growth. One of the most important aspects is also the feeling of giving them independence, that they are the ones, who can do it themselves. It's like enabling them to that sense. It's not that they're dependent on someone who will scan and then do, and they really desire to do it. And we also, because there's not much of other component which is involved with it, that's the there's a greater need to bring it. So if we wish to do that kind of a thing in our institutional ecosystems, because it's not necessary that always all the time someone has to scan their documents. They may like to do it themselves, and there is always a desire in them that they wish to. They just want to be independent, and they wish to do it. They don't really want someone else to do it for them. How far? Because this may happen if you really want to really make it seeped into the system and let people use it, let it reach to each and every one. It's not just simply using the technology. There is also more psychological impact coming out of it. So you may have to think about having some level of the technology wherein you may have a versions wherein you say this device and you can have 50 systems or 20 systems which can, it's like a sub-licensing. It's like they can in turn can do the work themselves, rather than just having the sharing is one part of it, but it's like to create that thing themselves. I hope you're able to get what I'm because in libraries that scenario would happen. Institutions, they may like to have that kind of but perhaps I think it's a time now to make the floor open for our colleagues who have joined us from across the country. Thank you so very much indeed. We have just made a beginning. I'm feeling truly delighted on this occasion of National Technology Day that we have made new beginnings today, and which will definitely would be contributing in very meaningful manner to this huge purpose of accessibility, and also making the society more inclusive, and the libraries to play a very instrumental role in that. With the permission of our such a esteemed speaker, Mr. Bonny, making the floor open for our colleagues, the attendees who have joined us from different nooks and parts of India and outside. Kindly raise your digital hand. You may have many questions to ask. Kindly raise your digital hand, and we'll be really delighted to get you connected directly with Bonny. It's over to you, to all our speakers, to all our attendees, and I will quickly sift through alphabetically A to Z. So please, your time starts now, and quickly doing that. And I could see that we have Alok Shrivastava. Please ensure that you have the audio devices connected with you. Mr. Alok Shrivastava, I have unmuted you, requesting you to unmute yourself. As I could see that there are a number of colleagues, who are wanting. This is once again to you, Mr. Alok Shrivastava. This is for you, Alok Shrivastava. If you want to ask any question, you have raised your digital hand. Otherwise, I'm compelled. Bonny, in the meantime, you can just at least have a glass of water. We are not in a position to,
No, thank you.
Water,
That's
okay. Such a pleasure. Quickly moving on, we have Dr. K.K. Suresh Kumar, and I believe from HRI Prayagraj from Allahabad. Dr. K.K. Suresh Kumar, I have unmuted you, Dr. Suresh. This is for you, Dr. K.K. Suresh Kumar. Please, yes, we are connected, Dr. Suresh. Introduce yourself.
Hello.
Hello, yes, we are able to hear you.
Good evening, madam. Good evening, sir. This is Suresh from HRI Prayagraj. So wonderful session. I got lot of information from your side, sir. So I can say there is no question from my side, but I got lot of things from your side. It's a really wonderful thing. So we need to adopt a lot of things in our library. Then only we can say about the technology and other things, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Madam, thank you.
Support that we are here.
Yeah.
Beyond Kibo, we are here. Okay, we are here to support.
Yes, thank you so
we
much.
work together as a unit. We will do this together.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I will contact you and your company, sir. Definitely, I will do the thing. Thank you, sir. Madam, thank you very much, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Suresh. Such a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you so much for joining in. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Yeah.
We would now quickly, I would just moving down from, we have Dr. Sandhya Purohit. Dr. Sandhya, I'm not able to see any audio device connected with your link. Requesting you to quickly log out and log in again and ensure that your the audio is connected. This is the same as for Kalai Chelvi. Kalai Chelvi, there is no audio which is being connected with you, so we can't give it. I'm now moving on to Mr. Khumchand Nanda Singh. Mr. Khumchand Nanda Singh, you have raised your digital hand, requesting you quickly to, yes, we are connected. Please introduce yourself and ask the question.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Madam, for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Sir Bonny. So I'd just like to know if you want to scan and digitize for around 100 books, for example, in the library, that about the size that we require for the computer.
Yeah, if you have a, this is for everyone. Thank you for asking this question, really important. So for institutions who have a very focused but a large scale demand, okay, that one-time effort, I have 1,000 books. I want to digitize it, make it in audio or translate them or something. You, while you can have the device and do it yourself also, that is perfectly okay. But we also have a services division in which we help you with, because these books, some may be new, old, very old, archive, right? So every document needs different kind of handling. So you can always reach out to us with your specific requirements, that this is the language of the document, these are the number of pages of documents that you want to digitize. We'll be happy to have a conversation with you to understand what will be the right solution. Is this product the right one, or is a service offering the right one for you? So we'll be happy to have that conversation with you depending on your needs, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
Madam.
you very much, Mr. Singh. Thank you. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. I think when we immediately post this session today, you're going to receive an email coming from us saying that we would like to explore the possibility of having a collaboration and providing the support to the institutional libraries with Kibo, with Trestle Labs. So this has been on the agenda, and we are really much, because even when we are doing the digitization work, we know that the copyright regulations does allow even for the latest titles, but yes, there is a greater need to sensitize our LIS fraternity about it, having some kind of a white paper on this, and also having a kind of an SOP, especially for adoption of this technology in the libraries. And then maybe perhaps as a consortia, DELNET may like to partner, with Trestle Labs for introducing the Kibo applications in the libraries. And we would be, feeling blessed if we can help in your mission of, reaching out to the institutions and to the users. We would like to now request Mr. Kishore Shinde. Mr. Kishore Shinde, could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Mr. Kishore Shinde, please unmute yourself quickly and ask the question. Mr. Kishore Shinde, I'm extremely sorry you are not able to do. I'm now going to Dr. Shama Prakash, the Chief Librarian at IIT Jodhpur. Thank you very much, Dr. Shama, for being there with us today. We are connected right now.
Hi, Dr. Sangeeta. Hi,
Bonny.
So happy that you took up this most relevant and most wanted topic and rightly roped in the Trestle Labs. Thank you very much for doing this for us. Bonny, your talk has been inspirational. The demo is very nice. I have just one question here. See, a second generation IIT library, as Sangeeta introduced me. I'm from Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur. As a second generation IIT library, we have a lot of electronic resources, e-books and e-journals. Like if I can put it in a percentage, like 80% of my collection is born digital. So how can Kibo help our users? At the moment, I may not have any, impaired users, but then I have to be prepared Tomorrow there can be some students, tomorrow there can be some faculty members who will really need this, faculty staff members. So can Kibo become a screen reader? And how does it work in a networked environment with multiple, multiple users or unlimited users? How can we do this for our library?
What do you want to enable? The read aloud part? Is that's what you want to do?
Read aloud.
I didn't get that.
Yeah. What I was saying is I have a lot of digital material which is already born digital, electronic subscriptions. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have less of print.
Only the same question of multiple users reaching out. The content is there, but the multiple users, how through the Kibo, one can do that. It's the same.
Right. The same answer to what I also said. Yes, short answer. Yes, you can do that. We just have to speak, understand the logistics, and just get started. It's very simple in terms of the steps. We'll be happy to speak, understand, and support you in the best possible manner.
Yeah. Okay. My question was more of, for example, there's an article which is accessible over the internet. I don't have a hard copy which needs to be digitized. It is just I need a screen reading. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that you can, for all the documents that you have, you can have it each. You can have a multi-user simultaneous use of audiotization of that content, which is born digital on the screen. It can help you with that. Yeah, it can happen with Kibo. What I showed you was just a small. What I showed was just a small part of the entire spectrum that we have, but yeah, we can support you with this.
Great. I'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, Bonnie, one of the things I just want to mention about, because as per the DAISY consortium, as per the copyright regulations, as long as that particular content that we are digitizing, auditizing, or any other mode that we are converting into, the target audience has to be, the one, who that is from the people with the special needs. We cannot bring that content, if we are giving it to someone other than that, then it's a violation of copyright. So this is again a very crucial, delicate issue in the libraries, because we cannot, for example, as Dr. Sharma was mentioning about also this e-content which is being there. Now that e-content which we are, converting into an audio or digitizing it, because the copyright regulations, they are not applicable. They say, fine, you can go ahead and do it. But the most important, thing to be underlined is it has to be specially provided to the person with the special needs. If the same copy we are giving it to someone, other than that, there comes the copyright violation. I believe that since you are dealing with this, you have to be also, you would definitely have done a lot much of things, and your thought process must have been there on this. Anything that you may like to mention about it, because we are talking about everything being available, accessible to everyone, but also at the same time, the copyright regulations are being placed. DAISY consortium, undoubtedly, they are doing a lot, but this is a very, crucial and a critical issue, that once we are putting that content, we can't put that content onto for example, onto the network, but then you also have to ensure that the accessibility is only for them. If someone other than that goes and access it, you fall into that, into those unwanted situations. How do we intend to address this?
So,
thank you, Sangeeta. That was very thoughtful of you. Very thoughtful of you. In fact, thank you for giving that heads up. I had this question mulling on my mind. I look forward to hearing from Bonny.
Absolutely. No, very valid point. This is so under the Marrakesh Treaty, which ma'am is talking about, in which a bona fide visually impaired individual, if something is in an inaccessible format, and if I'm making it an accessible format and giving it to him, and India is a signatory of it, in which I do not need to inform the publisher that this is what I'm doing, which is absolutely the case and important. Done. Now I'm talking about the other side. Now the part here, the part in question here is the ability, whether or not if you are saving the document, storing it, or distributing it. So Sangeeta ma'am, to your question, when a screen reading software is reading it out in real time in that session, done. If session closes, it's gone. It's not being stored anywhere. It happens on the fly. That is where you can use it in real time sessions only. So real time आप कर सकते हैं, you can do it. You cannot store it, distribute
Store
it.
it, exactly. Yes. There it
So
comes,
on
because
even when
as
I
you
was
were
talking about,
mentioning, Bonnie, as you were mentioning that, to upload it onto the Kibo platform. You mentioned it also that, you can save it and can. But then therein, I think, you also as a provider has to be then very much sure about it, that accessibility. They have done it, but now it may happen that an audiobook, even a person with no hearing impairment may like to listen to it.
yes,
He will say, okay, fine. They may pressurize the librarian saying that, no, you just give me, I just would like to. So I believe, yeah, please.
Can you also see the screen? You can, right?
Yes, yeah. Yes.
So I forgot to mention this. So what, to have this control, we give this control to the institution. What we have is under the security, there's an option to protect the documents, in which you set up a pin. For an example, I'll just quickly set something up. Right, ABC for now, and set up, and it gives me an option. Where is it that you want to lock the capabilities? Sharing is one option. Audiotizing is one option. Accidental deletion of documents is an option. Downloading documents in it. So these are the capabilities in which you feel that you don't want this flexibility to be offered to any unauthorized people. You can lock it.
This looks great. This is what, and then one can link it up with the target audience. This is like, the target audience, a special user, and then it can be linked up. Perfect. This is being taken care of. So thank you very much indeed for this. And let me now quickly move on. I'm quickly glancing through. I'm looking for the digital hands, and I can see. No, this is for Ambika. Ambika would like to request you. There is no audio device. I'm extremely sorry. I can't give you an audio control because there's no audio device there. We have Dr. Rajkumar Bhardwaj, the most enterprising young librarian at St. Stephen's College, who is globally, contributing immensely on the same in the same areas. It's such a pleasure to have you with us, Dr. Rajkumar, and we are very happy. We are indeed delighted that you are there with us in this session, and requesting you to please connect now, and to ask your question to Mr. Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Sangeeta ma'am, and thanks for organizing this event. My thanks also goes to Bonny for delivering such a wonderful talk. Since I'm a researcher in this area, assistive technology, my simple question is, first is related to the assistive technologies, and the second is related to the Kibo. And I'm happy to tell you that St. Stephen's College Library is one of the first few libraries in Delhi NCR who have been using Kibo. My question related to assistive technologies to Bonny is that, Bonny, how you perceive the future of assistive technologies? Because library, since it's we have been helping visually impaired students since the ages of Braille, and then converting the print to the digital, and then converting the electronic to the auditory. So we have been assisting students in all these areas. But how you perceive the future of assistive technologies? What will be the how you are doing R&D in this area? And the other thing is about the Kibo is, sometimes I think Kibo is in between the institutional support, and Kibo is also a PDA. So you are actually in between that, because some of the amount and the purchasing power of the people are increasing. So it is also kind of a PDA device nowadays. But we want to have a solution which help the large number of students. So in one go, a device which can help a multiple number of students. So how you see that Kibo is working in that area, how we can think that Kibo will also come into that picture. So that's one question. So another question related to Kibo is when we digitize actually the content using the Kibo device, it sometimes hangs actually after 50 pages or more than 55 pages. So sometimes it stopped working. So what is the logic behind that? Is it the technology that stop us to digitize more number of pages? What is that? So if you can answer these questions, I'm more interested to know the future of assistive technologies. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I mean, it's a pleasure to hear from you. I'll answer it in the reverse order because some are really one point. So in terms of hanging, okay. So I think that's not a function of Kibo because when you capture images like I was doing it and processing it, it gets temporarily stored on the RAM of the computer. So if your RAM is occupied, that's where you feel this lag thing coming in. So if you just shift the system, which has maybe instead of 4 GB and 8 GB RAM, you're good to go. So the hanging part or the lag part is not a function of the hardware or the software. It's just a matter of the RAM that it gets when it's temporarily saving those 50 images before we send it to process. So I think you can just simply change the system and you can just do more than what you are able to do in the current batch of files. Second question of yours was, I think if I understood it right, about Kibo being an institutional product and institutional pricing and how do we bring it to the individuals. Did I get it right? Like how do we make it available to more
multiple users, the same concern, multiple users, one device you have and how it can multiple users can use the same device at one particular moment.
Yes.
Multiple
so
users,
yeah. So I mean, I think the short answer to this, while I would love to understand, and even with Sangeeta ma'am also, on exactly what needs to be implemented as a and repeating the same thing.
Like a client server. It's like a client server architecture, Bonny. You have
correct.
the server resident, and you have a client there. So everyone, and it's just like through the TCP/IP, they are going to make a communication. It's just
correct. As long as if you connect this to the server computer, if you connect this to the server computer, the clients will be able to access it. Correct. The clients will be able to access it as long as this is there at the center. So I think
they are onto a local LAN. One simple thing, this is like a LAN application, right? That you have your main thing resident on the server, and then these clients through a browser, it's a server client architecture only. Through the TCP/IP, through the browser, they connect, and then the technology is able to help them to do. But the technology should be able to, the ports at your communication port at your device should be able to, in one point of time, it's like an 8080 port, should be able to communicate with the multiple clients, multiple users, multiple computer systems at one go. And everyone's concern is that in the libraries that concern will come.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of so far, whatever we've done, we've been able to, the best part about us is if there's something we don't know, we adopt to it and fine tune it to make sure it happens. Right? Because my objective is not like, acha, this is what I have and start selling it. Our ability to, because we are the developers, right? We have the nimbleness and the flexibility to adapt to different situations. So Indian Parliament library had a different requirement, and Gujarat University had a different requirement. So I think we have the ability to stretch ourselves to suit. So even if there's something that Kibo is not able to serve, we'll be happy to do that as well. So I think it's just a matter of discussing, understanding, and then implementing it. So we are, from our side, we are completely open to it. And because this
last question, the first question, assistive technology, future of assistive technologies.
Future of assistive tech. The future, and pardon me for repeating about it, future of assistive tech is inclusive for me in one word. Why I say this is, I see a future in which you can walk into a chroma store and buy a wheelchair and come out of it, right? You can walk into a mainstream store and then so there I see those lines getting blurred in which, oh, this is for a person with disability and this is not. Okay, the way it has happened, and I'm not saying this is something new, this has happened in tech, in software tech, in which we all know that some of the inventions were ideally like character guessing, and all these keyboards that we have were built for another use case in which people did not have the ability to type longer words. They can pick from the predictions, but it has come to mainstream use, right? That is the infusement in what I see of assisted tech in the times to come, from tech as well as hardware perspective, which everyone celebrates differences. हाँ ठीक है आपको, I mean, you can do this well or you can do this thing well. I think that notion will go away. Or and more importantly, जो mindset है ना, I think the shift will happen in which my mom sympathizing with some of our users कि God did not give him or her XYZ abilities. I mean, feeling sympathy about it. No, this will go away. I want to see a day where my mom says, okay, he's visually impaired, but did he get into IIT? What is he studying? Right? A normal conversation.
Yes.
That's where we will reach.
God bless you. God bless you. We would now like to move on to Mr. Ayan Mandal, who may like to ask a question. This is for you, Ayan. Please quickly introduce yourself. We have been knowing you so well, and Bonny may like to know about you and also about your question. Quickly, Ayan.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, and thank you, Mr. Bonny, for having this wonderful session. I am Ayan Mandal. I am a librarian on Tuli Research Center for India Studies in New Delhi. So basically, I have 4 questions: 2 from your hardware things and 2 from your servicing related things. So the first question, shall I ask all the 4 questions together or one after another?
Together.
Okay. So the first hardware related question is that what is the size of the document that your camera can support? And second one, particularly for heavy bound or fatty bound books, when if you start scanning or taking the photograph, the middle of the portion is not getting that, no, in that case, how you cop up or your camera can give support?
Correct. We have to answer 2 questions first. The current version that I showed you, this supports A4, slightly larger than an A4 size document, because we scan 1 page at a time, and 1 page typically fits in this dimension for an end user use case that we have been serving so far. The answer to the second question, in which bound books, thick books, again, like I said, depending on the type and age of the books, there are different methods of scanning that are suitable for them. Is a flatbed scanner suitable to scan that book versus an overhead scanner? Then we go with an option of flatbed scanning and then digitizing it or converting into a searchable format file. So I think depending on, again, the intent behind reading that bound book, is it one time? Then we can always accommodate it. So Kibo, for an example, while I said it's an A4 size, this is what is an A4 size reference mat, but you can use Kibo device without the mat as well. So in case if I'm placing it on top and then opening it, suddenly the area increases and it converts into an A3 size document, right? The camera is still will be able to support it. So hardware device does not have an area limitation. Okay. If it's a one-time usage, okay, suddenly I'm getting an A3 sheet, what do I do about it? You simply put something underneath, raise the height so that it's covering the document. You scan it and process it. But if the intent behind scanning that bound book is for preservation or digitization or restoration, then it needs to undergo a different process, maybe through Kibo or maybe through some other mechanism as well, which we can explore and understand what would be suitable in your case.
Right.
So
perfect. Ayan, now the remaining 2, because I could see there are not many other colleagues who are also wanting to ask. Very quickly ask, short question.
It's just yes, no. It's just a yes, no answer like that. Okay, since Kibo is a like a browser related thing, So it can software portal. So can I integrate Kibo with our library website or the digital library website? Can I link it?
To do what?
Just to read and listen that any digital document.
Tech wise we can do that, but if there's a strong use case, then we can think about the integration. But if it technologically we can do it, but karna hai ya nahi karna, that we can take a call if we discuss it on a
Okay, all right, I got it. And then the last one, that's very thing, like are you giving service for the short term, like few days, like we have exhibition regularly, and there are them just this time we are just giving you the PDF, some of the PDF copies, and that when we have some iPad and headphone, and just the user can read or audience can read, and can you give this type of short time service?
We can do that, discuss that. We are open to it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rian. Thank you. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you. Let me quickly move on. I'm again going from A to Z now. This is to tell everyone, Alka Memorial, there's no audio device. I can't connect with you. Please, Bhavna Sharma. Bhavna, I'm just making a trial. You're connected through some other interface today. Bhavna Sharma, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself. You have got 5 seconds to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm compelled to mute you now from here. You can write to Bonny directly on the email, and he will definitely be happy to answer your queries. Moving on, have crossed JK. I can see that we have a colleague. Dr. Sharma, is it the second time you want to ask another question? I'll just try to connect with you. Yeah, we are connected.
No. No.
Perfect.
No, thank you
Perfect.
very much. That was before. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Sharma. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is what happens in an online, that at times it gives you the trigger. We have Dr. Naz Haq, who may like to ask a question. Dr. Naz Haq, could you please unmute yourself? This is for Naz Haq. Naz, could you please unmute yourself and ask a question? I have sent you also an unmute request. Yes, we are connected, Naz. Please introduce yourself and ask a question. No, we got again. Please unmute yourself, Naz. We were connected, and then again it. No, okay. So this is, she has lowered her hand, digital hand. That means no. It's by. It happens. This is all shows that yes, you are curious enough to know that how the particular option would work. This is for Mr. Sachin Ambaskar. Sachin, please unmute yourself. Bonnie, this is to tell you we have reached till S from A. So we have a little bit more to cover. This is for you, Mr. Sachin Ambaskar. Please unmute yourself quickly. If not, let me move on to our next colleague who may like to ask. This is for Samyak Prateek Patnaik. Samyak Prateek Patnaik. This is for you, Samyak Prateek Patnaik. Could you please unmute yourself? The same looks to be. This is how the technology also gives you false alarms. Yes, we do encounter it, and we are encountering it. This is for you, Santosh Kumar Kanodia. Santosh Kumar Kanodia, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, Santosh, we are connected.
Hello.
Hello, yes. Introduce.
I have a question. My name is Santosh Kumar Kanodia. I'm a research scholar. I have a question, sir, to Mr. Bonny Dev, sir. Sir, is Kibo providing the study and learning material in the braille format to the blind person?
We say if there's a content, if you have a book that you want to convert into braille, you can use Kibo to digitize it, get a Word file, convert it into braille, and give it to an institution who has braille printers. We do not have braille printers in-house, but we enable conversion of printed and handwritten and digital content into braille. We help in the technology part, not in the printing part. Printing is always outsourced. If you need some references of, if you have some documents to be printed in Braille, you can reach out to me. I can pass it on to the right people in your locality that can help you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for asking. Yeah, thank you, Santosh, for asking this very important, good question. Thank you so much. This is, Bonny, just to ask you, this model, subscription model that the institutions has and that you offer, is it only to the institutions or do you also offer it to the individuals?
For which platform? Kibo 3?
The Kibo, yes.
Kibo
Is it only for,
360?
yeah, 360
Yeah.
or any of your, let's say we have a
Kibo,
research scholar, yeah.
So for an example, keyboard device I'm talking about, let me talk about individuals. If an individual wants to purchase the product, we have partnered with a philanthropic organization. This is a person with disability I'm talking about. If we partner with a philanthropic organization in which they subsidize the product, so 99 wala jo product hai, the product at 99,000 Kibo excess kit for hard copy scanning, they can get it. If their income is more than 5 lakhs, they get it at 55,000. If their income is less than 5 lakhs, they're research scholars, no income, then they can get it at 27,000 as well. Lifetime license of the software because of the subsidy that is provided by the philanthropic organization.
Okay.
Similar is the case with Kibo 360 as well. That if there is they don't need an unlimited yearly subscription, their usage is limited, 5,000, 10,000 pages, and we customize the plan and give it to them. For an example, our keyboard desk version starts at 129 rupees. They get 300 pages, and then it goes depending on their need and requirement. So we have custom plans for individuals for 360 and subsidies for access.
So, Bonny, it's also important to let our special communities to know about it because not many of them would be knowing because this funds at times they are getting the special funds for it, and also as we could see that you have Ministry of Social Empowerment already being involved. But and how far is the CSR? How far the corporate sector? Do you encounter situations wherein you are being approached by the corporate sector, wherein they want to do something in this regard and wants to, under their CSR initiatives, they want to do something? Any of the, some of the, these corporate sector institutions have come forward in that? Companies have come forward?
Yeah. So usually the CSR interactions, we've never used CSR as a channel for distribution so far. We've been very mainstream.
Not as a distribution. This is to support. This is to help the community. This is to help the community. Yeah.
Usually NGOs, institutions come us with the requirement saying that we partner with this company and we want to procure these products and give it to these facilities or these colleges even in different parts of Tamil Nadu, and as an example. So yes, there have been instances where we have interacted with them, but going forward, I think we'd love to explore that as an opportunity angle as well. That if there are corporates who are willing to do that,
it's
more than
not
happy
much
to
of potential. Yeah, a lot much of potential in that, to explore with them. Thank you very much. Now, quickly, let me go to Shirpal Meena. Shirpal Meena, Mr. Shirpal Meena, could you please unmute yourself? This is for you, Mr. Shirpal Meena. Could you please unmute yourself? Otherwise, I have now muted you from here. This is for Simran Raheja. Simran, you have raised your hand. Would you like to ask a question to Bonny? I have unmuted you and also sent you an unmute request. This is for you, Simran Raheja. Simran, would you like to ask any question? It seems that you have been trying to see this feature. This is for Sony Singh. Sony Singh. Sony, you have, the moment I whispered your name, you lowered your hand, it seems. So I now have to, just allow me a minute. I now have to unmute you because just for a second, yes. We could now see we are towards the, this is for Ujjwal Baske. Ujjwal Baske, this is for you, Ujjwal. Ujjwal Baske, could you please unmute yourself? Ujjwal, if you want to ask any question, could you please unmute yourself? In fact, we don't want to miss out anyone. And that's, you know, the very purpose of today's session too, you know, inclusiveness. We don't want, you know, we would feel highly uncomfortable if we leave someone, you know, who is wanting to ask a question. So this is for you, Mr. Vinod Kumar. I believe, Dr. Vinod, could you please unmute yourself? You have raised your digital hand. This is for you, Vinod Kumar. No. Not able to do it. And now a very quick run. Aditya Narela. Aditya Narela, quickly.
Yeah, ma'am, it is
Aditya,
audible.
yes, we are connected.
Yeah, so my question is to this sir. So actually, while
Introduce
dealing with
yourself,
the science,
Aditya. Aditya, introduce yourself, please.
okay, so I am Aditya Narela. So basically, I am a student of Master of Science and Environmental Studies. And so my thing is that because it is a part of our research and Kibo, I think I have just have seen it in my libraries and all. So the thing is that so while dealing with the scientific data, okay, so suppose in the scientific data, we are basically dealing with the pictorials, representations, graphs, mathematical equations. So if the same paper I have to just transcript it into the audio scripts, okay, so is it are you sure that it is much reliable, that it is converting the all the text and that scientific data into the 100% reliable audio formats? And if it is formats, then how we will say the reliability and efficiency of converting of that scripts? So I want to know that, because that the main concern and challenge is technical jargons are very much errorful while in audio files. So how can you just improve it, or if you are improving, then can you please suggest some things? So that's all.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing this up. Yeah. Let's break the tech content down into two parts. One is languages, the different languages, and the second part is scientific text, formulas, calculations, chemical equations, right? So for all of those, currently the tech maturity is at a level wherein we are able to support. Our first objective was language support. So we started with 3 languages, and over a period of time grew the language support. Second focus was our ability to also support handwritten text. So as on today, Kibo has an accuracy of 99% for printed text at character level, and between 89 to 90% even for handwritten text. So if you have some handwritten text, or like I said, showed an example, between 85 to 99%. When it comes to chemical equations, scientific formulas, currently Kibo will, for basic arithmetic equations, a square plus b square is equal to c square, it will do that. But beyond that, it won't be able to self-comprehend and convert it into audio. Exactly for that reason, currently there's a manual intervention wherein you edit the text, and then whatever verbalization that you want to include in that text is what you append the text as. A square plus b, na jo bolna hai, whatever you wanted to say, you append it as a text and then convert it into an MP3 or save it as a file. At this point, it does not support scientific and complex mathematical equation. Having said that, this is a function of the evolution of tech. And the beauty about Kibo is because there's nothing that goes in this, everything is on the fly. So any update that we push, the customer who bought it in 2019 is using the same latest version of Kibo that is getting it in 2024. That is the beauty of tech and the updates that we continue to push and provide it to the users at all points of time. So Abhi, as on today, scientific equations, chemical equations, I won't say it does, but over a period of time, whenever we develop that ability, we'll push it as an update to all the users as well. And just on that note, I'd also like to say that in sync with our discussion today, I'll be happy, even Sangeeta ma'am, I'll be happy to share that information as well. I'll be happy to provide trial licenses of Kibo 360 to the members or the attendees who are there on the call if they want to try it on their own documents, because I'm showing something. But if there's a different feeling that you get, oh, I tried it on my own document, right? So I'll be happy to pass on trials of Kibo 360, just that You won't be able to use the third option, which requires a hardware device. But you can always scan it with a normal scanner, create a PDF and upload it. The accuracy will remain the same. I mean, it's at par itself. So I can give it to you, and then you can try Kibo 360 Aditya. Sorry, I missed the name. But yeah, तो आप try करके देखना.
Thank you, Bonny. One quick question, because one question and the answer, leads to another one. I have seen it myself in National Library for the Blind in Utah, in US. They have been using the technology. This is more than 10 years old, wherein Library of Congress also has been really doing marvelous work there in US, especially for our visually impaired. Does our Kibo helps the libraries and those wherein we do have a voluntary participation for creating the audiobooks, because this would be of great value, especially also in the public libraries. You have a small kids visually impaired, and now you want to create. I have seen it myself how the voluntary participation, which is quite popular there, you are able to see that very strongly in the US libraries. So you have these devices wherein the person from the society would just walk in on a weekend and would record, a comic book for a visually impaired child. And they would, in a very different, with a voice modulation, and they will, giggle. And so does this device of yours, this has, whether Kibo has an option wherein one can create an audiobook. It's not translating that, it's not auditizing it, but it's also content creation. That is, you have a book and you really want a human intervention in that, wherein you are creating that as a new content. So because content creation, isn't very important. It's not that we have a one content and we are just translating or we are giving it as an audio output, but also because libraries also remains as a centers for creating a new content. Does this device helps in creating a new content, especially for a very special group of our societies we would be requiring it? Does it allow that?
It allows that. We haven't thought about it in this perspective of volunteer driven audiobook creation. Like, it didn't strike our mind at all, but would be happy to have a center, a DELNET Kibo center for voluntary audiobook.
Yeah. We would be really, we have been really wanting, this to come into our Indian society, wherein, the general, the public, wants to, the masses wants to, each one of us would like to contribute in that. Yeah. Means we would like to spare whatever time. Yes. Yeah. So, perfect. So you have a technology and also the will and desire, a collective will and desire of everyone. I think the day is not that far that we will be able to do this. Perfect. Great. Thank you very much, Bonny. I think we have to listen to all these conversations again and again, the takeaways. We couldn't get really a time to take down, the takeaways, but it's all being in every conversation and also very active participation of our distinguished colleagues. We have been really able to, not many recommendations coming out of this. As we could see, we are 450, yeah? We are always having, ample time and would like to have a great time, to converse on these. We have Dina Suba, who has joined us, and she may like to ask a question. This is for you, Dina. Could you please unmute yourself and ask? Yeah, we are connected right now, Dina. Quickly, she's a young, very, yeah, it's over to you, Dina. This is caller.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Sir, I have two questions for you. I came to know about the amount of the, the Kibo, which you have told us, and I'm a research scholar as well as I'm working in a small government edit library. So my library doesn't have that much amount to install that software, install that Kibo. So my college is affiliated to Sikkim University, which is Central University. So, sir, my question is, if my Central University have that Kibo access, then can my library access that through remote? So is there any features, or is there any thing so that we can access the information remotely, sir, from Sikkim University? And sir, another question is, you talk about the subsidy. Okay, sir. So I'm working in a Sikkim, so it belongs to Northeast. So, sir, do you have anything, any such subsidy that which you can give us? Thank you, sir.
Yes. So I think my second answer is the answer to the first question. Remotely, yes, we can do it, but as Sangeeta ma'am also said, the ability to do it yourself and you having the control over it, there's nothing better than that. So ideally, I want to make sure that we get Kibo to your university in line with the budget or whatever. Like I said, financing is the easiest part. We'll make sure that we connect after the call and understand the requirement and find the right individual and make sure that you are able to access Kibo at your institution as well. So yes, short
Thank
answer,
you very
yes.
much, Bonny. Thank you. Let me just tell to all our colleagues, here, this is the last round that we are running now, the very last round of questions. We have already taken much of time of Bonny, so we just would like to see to it that we are now into the last, running from A to Z, and post this, you should always be full of questions, full of, queries, and always the desire to keep on doing something good for the society around. This is the last round now. So whatever questions that you have, please kindly ask right now. And then otherwise, drop an email that Bonny has to tell once again his email ID to everyone, and you can write to him. So this is for Alka Ben Mistry. Alka Ben Mistry, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, you're connected. Ask your question quickly.
Yes, sir. I am a research scholar and I am dealing with the translation services. Is it possible for me to buy it personally, or I can hire the services from you for translation
From
in
where are
Indian?
you? In Gujarat? In Gujarat, you are doing, and from which university, Alka?
I am doing from Sarvajanik University, Surat.
Okay, that's a Sarvajanik University, Surat. Yes, sir.
Yes, we can. Both the options are open. Like I said, if you want to have the device, then we can again subsidize it and make sure that for your personal use, for your translation services. If you think that the volumes are high and you want to outsource it as a service, then we'll be happy to take that outsourcing part as well. So both the
No, sir.
options are open.
Dealing for my PhD purpose only for this translation.
Either you can have Kibo at your university, so you don't have to pay for it, and it acts as a resource for the university. The best thing else, we can always discuss and see what is the best option to get it across. So, baat kar le
Okay,
sab.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. In fact, what you can also Bonny can do is some research fellowships you should give it for the researchers and scholars, and inspiring them also to work in these areas, wherein you give them, the device and, and let them as a research fellowship, maybe, even if you start off with 1 or 2 in a year, wherein you give them a support. This is basically to play with this entire idea, and also wherein they would in turn would be interacting with the community and giving you further inputs. That would be really helpful in a way, to reach out, to get the inputs from them, and that would give you further inputs to, work on the technology side to integrate. We have, yes, do you have something already?
Yeah, Gujarat University, the PhD research scholars, because they had a center there where they set it up Kibo, so they used to prepare their thesis on Kibo being used in the library system in the university. So yes, you have done that engagement. Happy to continue that as well.
Yeah, Miss, what I was trying to hint at is that the projects which are more driven towards the specially abled,
okay,
the fellowships, yeah, on that particular areas, so that they in turn, they should pick up, the topics which are closer to the work that you are doing it, and then they will become, in a way, they will help you out for the more inputs. Yeah, this is for Ria Verma. Ria, you have raised your digital hand. Quickly let us know, are you interested to ask a question? This is for you, Ria. No. So let me move on from R's to S, and quickly, it seems that now everyone has been included.
I can drop my email here.
Yeah, Bonny, yeah. You can perhaps show your first screen, and you can type in, and then you can just have a file sharing, we can perhaps I will just write it here. BONNY at Trestle Labs.
TRESTLE LABS.
Yeah. Just doing it so that everyone gets it. Yeah. Is it Bonny at TrestleLabs.com, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trestle.
BONNY at TRESTLE labs.com. Perfect. Just correct me. I'm sending it across to everyone. I hope you have also got it. It's perfect.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, yeah. The mail should not bounce, and it's not one like in abundance. It would be so. Such a pleasure, and let me just share with everyone that DELNET would definitely be wanting to initiate. We have already initiated today. Today has been a big thing, on this occasion of National Technology Day. Each one of us have very strongly have equal, it has been resonated through these discussions that there is a greater need, that each one of us in the best of our capacities to come forward collectively, cohesively, in a very collaboratively to work on implementing, these solutions which have so, in such a very meaningful manner, the thought even, we salute the spirits, Bonny, of yours and your team members for having this technology now coming into countries like a Make in India, and it's definitely, it's a matter of only time, and it's there is a greater need to let it reach to the people, and we should carry on, with this visionary work. DELNET may sincerely be wanting to initiate the dialogue, with Trestle Labs to see to it that how we can work together, bringing this particular technology, to the libraries, to the institutions, and also, under our consortia, we really can do a lot much of hand-holding with the institutions. So you have institutions on the other side, also at the same time, researchers and scholars in the country, who really needs that kind of a support. So we should also, and it's a train the trainer. It's also important enough in this that we should, everyone is being involved with the work. Everyone should, it's not only that we talk about this inclusive technology, but we have to typically, demonstrate that through the work that we are engaged with. So the technology is inclusive, it's meant to be inclusive, but each one of us in a very participative manner, we have to work and then do it. And we indeed have felt so very blessed that we have been able to cross our paths, and being able to discover you and the wonderful work that you're engaged with. And each one of us here, on this platform and many more would always be wanting to help you in promoting this, propagating it, through any of the, the best of the platforms, to ensure that the purpose, for which, as you have said, the intent, that pure intent, the purity of the intent, which is being there with the pure deeds, it always makes a difference. That becomes more magical always. So we always assure you that we are there with you. Institutions are there with you. Each one of us in all our capacities would really want to transform, empower, the society around. And we are glad that we have made already a beginning. The beginning has already been made. And we really await for a wonderful opportunity to start working together, on this. And all of us would help you out, in reaching out to the masses.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for this opportunity. I hope that I was able to communicate, share, probably inspire people to look at the world more from an inclusive lens. So thank you. Thank you everyone for your time. 2 hours on a Saturday really means a lot to me personally. And I'm sure you spent these 2 hours with us on a very positive discussion. And I wish you a very good weekend, a very good day, and hope to connect with you soon. On my email as well.
Yes, Bonny, and this is coming, yes, for you. I look forward to coming to Bangalore. We have got our own office now in Bangalore, a newly established one. I look forward to give it to you in person. I am planning out to come next month, and I don't want to send it across. I really want to see to it this jewel-studded, elephant, takes a position on your working desk, making you more mighty in your deeds, in your action, which you're already doing it, so wonderfully. No words to express. It's so wonderful to see, the brightest of the bright, around, illuminating, enlightening everyone with your, not only with your talk, but with your deeds, and you are really setting in new paths. And this is all to you, the incredible work that you are engaged with, wishing you the very best. And we really would like to, work together to see to it that we are able to reach out and make the society a truly an inclusive one. This is for you, Bonny. Great appreciation for your wonderful work, and also to your team members there. So let's work together to transform the world, to humanize the technology, which is really, really very, very important. Let us practice, this inclusiveness in our thoughts and then also in our deeds, and co-create the future, that each one of us always, envision and would like to see around. And let these assistive technologies, act more as a bridge, for us to do that, to get into the future, that we wish to see around. Thank you so very much, Bonny, for such a very special afternoon. And then in the true spirits, we have celebrated the National Technology Day, with a strong resolve that we are certainly, with our deeds would make a difference in the society, and we will contribute it in a meaningful manner, putting our heart, mind, and soul into the deeds. And just requesting you, would you like to say something about this one? Because in our emails that's going, that resolve, that's our to be more inclusive. Would you like to say something about it?
Yes, like you said towards the end of my earlier conversation, that after these meetings, the motivation levels are very high. Like we feel pumped up. But if it's followed by an action, it really stays with us. So we've also requested Sangeeta ma'am and the DELNET team to provide you with the link to take the pledge. You'll be receiving it in an hour after, maybe in some time. So please do not forget to take that pledge. It'll serve as a small memory for you of the session, and hopefully you'll remember this very positive conversation that we have had today. And yeah, so I think
thank you.
A homework for all of you.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And thank you so very much. Our very, very special colleagues from across the country, many more other, from other countries. You always inspire and motivate us to keep on having these very, knowledge enriching sessions, knowledge enhancing sessions. And it's always such a wonderful pleasure, and thank you so much for your very highly thought provoking, questions also at the same time, which really has made this entire session of 2 hours. It's more than 2 hours, 2 hours 10 minutes, and we really want to keep on. We have initiated, we are on to, and let this remain as a very continuous discussion. Need for doing more introspection and retrospection on this wherever we are and whatever we are doing. This pledge of this inclusiveness, as has been rightly pointed out by Bonny, we should not think about that this is meant only for a set group of people who will be needing it. Inclusiveness is a very broader term. It's not only a term, it is a belief that you have to carry with you. You must really believe in that yes, I'm a person who believes in inclusiveness, and whatever we are doing, whatever we say, there should always be in that strong context of inclusiveness. It has been a very, very special day for us. Wishing you all the best of the times ahead, using the technologies to the best of your, not only the capacities, but we should always remember that we need to humanize it, and there cannot be any better way, to do that than to, always when you think about it, no one should be left behind. Everyone should be along with you. It's not like even someone following you. It is everyone along, everyone moving together. That sense of togetherness always gives us, enough strength to take the very next step, and the step which is more purposeful with a great mission and vision in mind, and that is to spread, that light, that we always search for around. So thank you so very much for being there with us. Thank you very much, Bonny, the entire colleagues, at Trestle Labs. You have really made this day very, very special, and we're certainly, going to work together. That's a very strong vibe that we are getting out of these discussions here today. And thank you very much, all our colleagues, and my own colleague, Kushal Goswami, who coordinates our sessions. My very special, thanks to him too. So thank you so very much once again. Just quickly, sharp at 6:10, you are going to receive a certificate of appreciation, and it's not only a participation, a great appreciation for your wonderful, participation today in these discussions. And we really look forward to carrying it forward by having more in-person discussions. I was telling it to Mr. Bonny that our NACTIN conference, which has been announced from 25th, 26th, 27th of September, we are holding it at Indore. We may like to extend an invite to you, Bonny, and to your team we may like to have a tutorial session, practically demonstrate and show it to them that how it really works, and we would really like to, keep on doing, especially, for using these assistive technologies and targeting, and working for our, users with the special needs. Thank you so very much. Once again, it has truly been a pleasure and interacting and being there and having each one of you with us. We really look forward to having you back again in the future webinar sessions. And it has truly been, with your presence, you have made this afternoon and this National Technology Day a very special day that we are going to cherish and remember forever. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bonny. God bless you all. Stay informed, stay blessed, stay happy, stay connected, and also do stay. You know that? You have to stay inclusive. Stay inclusive and practice that inclusiveness. That's the strong message that we have been able to get from this session today. Thank you very much. And Bonny, we cannot thank you enough, for this wonderful. God bless you. God bless you. And keep on doing, your best. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you very much, all of you. Have a very good evening and a very pleasant weekend. Thank you very much indeed. Looking forward to having you back again soon. Thank you. Thank you. God bless, Bonny. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you.